Okay, picture this. You post something online, and for the next 3 hours, you are literally glued to your screen, just endlessly refreshing to see who liked it. Or maybe you're getting ready to go out, and the whole process is just overshadowed by this heavy, visceral anxiety about how people are going to perceive you. Look, we've all been there, right? It is an exhausting loop to be stuck in. So, in this explainer today, we are going to unpack exactly how to break that loop by diving into the deep psychology of why we care so much in the first place.
You walk into a crowded room, and instead of taking in the atmosphere, or, actually looking forward to hanging out with your friends, you instantly shrink into yourself. Do I look weird? In a fraction of a second, you've taken yourself completely out of the present moment. You aren't experiencing the room anymore, you are just experiencing your own anxiety about the room.
And the worst part? It doesn't stop when you leave, does it? You say something in passing, a totally normal, everyday interaction, but you go home and you replay it in your head 10 times. You lie in bed at night, just staring at the ceiling, thinking, why did I say that? Sometimes, this overthinking paralyzes us so deeply that we don't even make a decision at all. We just freeze up, purely because we're too busy agonizing over what everyone else will think if we do.
So here is a really uncomfortable truth. By avoiding decisions out of a fear of judgment, you are giving people you barely even know total control over your life. You are literally handing the steering wheel of your future over to strangers. And honestly, the absolute wildest part about this whole dynamic is that most of these people aren't even thinking about you in the first place.
Let's do a quick mental exercise. Think about the last time you saw someone trip in public. What was your actual, honest reaction? Step 1, you probably noticed it. Step 2, maybe you felt a brief pang of sympathy. And step 3, you forgot about it. You instantly went back to your own life, your own problems, and wherever you were walking. But when you trip or make a mistake, your brain acts like the entire world has just stopped to watch.
That overblown panic? That is the exact trap we're breaking today. Because learning to stop caring what people think doesn't mean you just become rude or completely indifferent to the rest of humanity. No, it simply means understanding the difference between being a good person and constantly seeking approval. Once you grasp that difference, man, everything changes. You start making the decisions you actually want. You speak up. You say no. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. Most importantly, you actually start living your own life.
But to understand why this is so incredibly hard to overcome, we have to look back at our evolutionary psychology. Like, why do we care so much to begin with? Well, it comes down to something very fundamental. We want to belong. For most of human history, being accepted by your group wasn't just, emotionally nice. It literally determined your survival. If you were cast out, you didn't survive. So your brain learned to pay extreme attention to any hint of social rejection.
Because of that ancient survival wiring, criticism today feels way, way bigger than it actually is. Someone simply says, I don't really like what you did, and suddenly your brain goes into absolute overdrive. It sparks 20 frantic questions. Did I mess up? Do they hate me? What are other people saying? Should I completely change what I'm doing? Before you know it, one single person's passing opinion has consumed you and become your entire reality.
But hold on, let's look at the massive logical flaw in that downward spiral. An opinion is not a fact. Someone thinking you're boring does not actually make you boring. Someone thinking you're unsuccessful doesn't mean you're unsuccessful. If someone doesn't understand your choices, it doesn't mean your choices are wrong. Their opinion is simply data about how they see you. It's entirely subjective. It is absolutely not a final verdict on who you actually are. To really break free, you've got to make a massive internal shift. You have to move from side A to side B. Stop asking, what will they think, and start asking, well, what do I think? It sounds almost too simple, I know, but try it the next time you face a tough decision. When you ask, should I start that business? What if everyone laughs? Just notice what happens there. You stop asking if the decision is right for you, and you start asking if others will approve. That right there is how you slowly lose ownership of your own life.
Plus, chasing approval, it's a completely rigged game. You literally do not need everyone's approval, because everyone has entirely different values, completely different experiences, and totally different definitions of success. Just think about it. If 10 people give you 10 wildly different opinions about your life, which one is correct? Should you somehow try to twist yourself to listen to all 10? Obviously not. It's literally impossible to please everyone.
So instead of asking, does everyone approve of me? You need to create a much smaller, highly curated inner circle. You need to ask yourself, whose opinion actually matters?
Maybe it's someone you deeply trust, someone who knows you well, who genuinely wants the best for you, or maybe someone with real, relevant experience in what you're trying to do. Those opinions, super valuable, but random criticism from someone who doesn't even know your life, you absolutely do not have to build your identity around that.
Now, there is another mental trap that makes all of this even worse. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect. Basically, this is our psychological tendency to dramatically overestimate how much other people notice us. You feel like everyone noticed your awkward moment simply because you experienced it from inside your own head. The spotlight feels incredibly hot and blindingly bright when you're the one standing right under it. But here's the reality check on what everyone else is actually focused on. They are experiencing their own life from inside their own head. They are thinking about their job, their relationship, their money, how they look, their problems, what they're going to eat for dinner tomorrow. You are just a passing character in their day. You are not the main character of their entire life. And honestly, when you truly grasp this, it is an incredibly freeing realization. To really cement that feeling of freedom, let's think about the passage of time. Pull up a memory of something really embarrassing you did, say 5 years ago. Got it? It probably still feels huge and horrifying to you right now. But ask yourself, how many other people actually remember it? Almost nobody. And that exact same fade to nothing is going to happen with most of the things you're stressing over today. That awkward conversation, the bad photo, the mistake you made at work. 5 years from now, literally none of it will matter. So while it's something that won't matter in 5 years, dictate what you do today.
All right, let's just slow down for a second here, because I want to acknowledge a really difficult reality. Simply knowing all of this stuff intellectually, knowing that people don't care as much as you think, that doesn't automatically make you stop caring. Having that intellectual understanding is an amazing first step, but it's not a magic, instant cure for social anxiety. Your ancient brain wiring is stubborn. You are going to have to actively train yourself. You have to train yourself to tolerate something that is very, very uncomfortable, being misunderstood. Because here is the raw reality that nobody really wants to hear. If you start living according to your own values, if you start taking true ownership of your own path, some people will absolutely misunderstand you. Some just won't like you. Some are going to criticize you, and some will think you're making terrible decisions. You cannot eliminate that friction.
You can't eliminate their opinions, but you can decide the role those opinions play in your life. Which brings us to the ultimate question that you have to answer for yourself right now. When that inevitable criticism comes, when those misunderstandings happen, and when strangers cast their judgment, how much power will you give them?
We're going to unpack exactly how you can build true, unshakable internal security and finally stop living your life just to get the approval of other people. Ultimately, this is a journey about taking your mind back, and I am absolutely thrilled to unpack this with you. So let's jump right in. I actually want to start off by having you challenge a really common assumption. Think about this for a second. What actually is real confidence? Because most of us make a massive mistake here. We somehow get this idea in our heads that confidence means reaching this magical endpoint where nobody's opinion ever affects you at all. Like you're just a brick wall, entirely numb to what anyone else thinks. But here's the thing, that is absolutely not what confidence is.
This is where it gets really interesting, because this totally flips the script. Real confidence isn't about ignoring feedback. It's actually the ability to hear an opinion without automatically changing who you are because of it. It's literally the power of listening without obeying. You see, you can accept a piece of criticism from someone without accepting their entire definition of you. You can listen to a piece of advice and say, maybe they have a point, without immediately jumping to, oh wow, they are definitely right and I'm wrong. That little gap, that space between their opinion and your reaction, that right there is true emotional freedom.
Okay, so how do we actually build this freedom in the real world? Well, it starts with these really small, everyday acts of choosing yourself. You just start doing things you genuinely want to do, even when you know in the back of your mind that someone might judge you for it. Wear that outfit you really like. Pitch that out-of-the-box idea in a meeting. Take yourself out to a restaurant alone. Speak up when you usually just nod along. Or, and this is a big one, just say no when you actually mean no. Look, these aren't some crazy dramatic life overhauls, but every single time you do one of these tiny things, despite the fear of judgment, you are teaching your brain a crucial lesson. You're telling it, hey, I can survive being judged. And honestly, that is incredibly powerful.
And here is the absolute kicker. The goal here isn't to magically never feel uncomfortable again. Let's be real, you're gonna feel awkward when you put yourself out there. But the true goal is to stop letting that discomfort make your decisions for you. You are literally grabbing the steering wheel back from your own fear.
Now we absolutely have to talk about the elephant in the room, comparison. It is one of the biggest reasons we get totally trapped by other people's opinions. You open up Instagram or TikTok, where by the way the average person is spending over 2 hours a day, and bam, you are instantly caught in the trap. You see someone exactly your age with a wildly successful career or traveling the world, getting married, buying a huge house, getting in incredible shape, and suddenly you're sitting there questioning your entire existence, right? But what's really happening is you are comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's carefully curated highlight reel. You're seeing their shiny final result, but you completely miss the unseen years of brutal work. You don't see their failures, their late-night panic attacks, or what they had to sacrifice behind closed doors to get there.
Above all else, you have got to remember this. Their life is not your assignment. Your timeline does not have to look anything like someone else's timeline. You don't need to be a millionaire by 25 just because some guy on the internet pulled it off. You don't need to rush into marriage just because all your friends are doing it. And you definitely don't need to pick a career path just because your family thinks it sounds impressive at dinner parties. You have to build a life that actually makes sense for you.
Which leads us to a truth that is, frankly, pretty tough to swallow, but it is entirely necessary. It is impossible to live honestly without occasionally disappointing someone. Just let that sink in for a second. Look, this is not about intentionally hurting people or being selfish, but the reality is, if you set a boundary, someone might call you selfish. If you say no, somebody's going to be let down. If you pivot your career, someone is going to strongly disagree. If you finally stop doing something that's making you miserable, someone out there simply won't understand. And you know what? That is perfectly okay.
See, there is a massive difference in where your responsibilities actually lie. You are literally not responsible for making everyone else comfortable with your decisions. Your actual responsibility is just making thoughtful decisions for your own life and owning the consequences of them. Trying to manage everybody else's comfort, that is a game you will lose every single time.
If you remember absolutely nothing else from this entire explainer, please let it be this golden rule. Don't make permanent decisions to avoid temporary judgment. I really want you to think about the gravity of that statement. You could spend years or literally decades trapped in a career you despise, all because you're terrified of disappointing your parents. You could stay in a toxic relationship just because you're dreading the gossip if you break it off. You might bury a passion project you love because you're too scared of looking stupid if it fails.
Because if you do that, you're going to wake up one day to a heartbreaking reality. You're going to look back and realize you weren't actually living your life at all. You were just acting as a PR manager for other people's reactions to it. Please, whatever you do, do not let that be your story. Your life is way too valuable to spend it babysitting other people's expectations.
Okay, so how do we practically break out of this cycle? Starting right now, before you make your next big decision, I want you to pull out this mental toolkit. Ask yourself these 3 specific questions. Number 1, if nobody could judge me right now, what would I choose? Number 2, whose opinion am I actually afraid of here? And number 3, is this going to matter to me 5 years from now? I'm telling you, these 3 questions are practically magic. They will instantly expose all that unnecessary fear clouding your judgment and completely dismantle it.
Now, as you start being brutally honest with those answers, you're going to need to make one final massive shift. You have to stop trying to prove yourself. You don't have to prove to anyone that you're successful. You don't have to prove you're the smartest in the room or that you're super attractive or that you're somehow inherently better than anyone else. That constant, exhausting performance, just drop it. You can finally let it go. Because what happens is, as you build up that internal security, that desperate need to perform externally just evaporates. You'll actually start seeing signs of true security popping up in your life. You'll find yourself getting remarkably comfortable saying things like, well, this is what I believe, or this is what I'm working toward, this is what I want. And hey, I completely understand that you might disagree. That right there, that is true maturity. It's rock solid confidence. It is absolute freedom. And honestly, that profound freedom is exactly what MindForge is all about. This whole philosophy, it's not about becoming some flawless, perfect person. It's definitely not about pretending you never struggle or never have a moment of insecurity. It is about understanding your mind, aggressively challenging the thoughts that are holding you back, and slowly, intentionally building a much stronger version of yourself. MindForge, understand your mind, build your life. Because your mind shapes exactly how you view yourself, your decisions shape your reality, and those daily choices eventually forge the person you become.
Let's zoom way out for a second and look at this from the ultimate perspective. When you reach the end of your life, you are not going to remember every random person who disagreed with your choices. You just won't. What you are going to remember are these deeply personal core things. The hard choices you made, the risks you were actually brave enough to take, the people you love deeply, the crazy experiences you had, the things you built from scratch, and ultimately, the person you became along the way.
So the very next time you find yourself standing at a crossroads, your heart is pounding, your palms are sweating, and you're agonizing over, oh man, what is everyone gonna think? I want you to hit pause, take a deep breath, drown out all that noise, and simply ask yourself, what do I think?
Because you only get one shot at this life. Do not spend it exhausting yourself trying to control an audience that wasn't even watching you as closely as you thought. Spoiler alert here, they are way too busy worrying about what you think of them. Everyone is so caught up in their own heads, their own daily dramas, their own insecurities. They are not analyzing your every move. You really don't need everyone's approval. You just don't. What you actually need is self-respect. You need a set of clear values that dictate your decisions. You absolutely need the courage to be completely misunderstood by people who are committed to misunderstanding you. And you need the drive to just keep putting one foot in front of the other anyway. Once you lock those down, that is the exact moment you stop living for other people's opinions and you finally start building a life that actually feels like yours.
And again, that is the core of Mind Forge. Understand your mind. Build your life. It's a continuous, incredibly empowering psychological journey, moving away from desperately seeking validation from the outside and cultivating a fierce, unshakable internal security on the inside.
So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. If there is just one thing you take away from our time together today, let it be this. Take one small action today that you have been actively avoiding just because you're scared of what somebody might say. Hit send on that message. Apply for that scary opportunity. Say no to that draining request. Start that messy first draft of your project. Speak your mind out loud. Whatever it is for you, take that very first step. And listen, do not do it to prove anything to them. Do it to prove something to yourself. You are allowed to live your own life. Seriously, let that sink in. The cage door is wide open. So, knowing that the fear of judgment was just an illusion this whole time, what is the very first thing you are going to do with your newfound freedom?